As with most collectibles, one of the ways ancient coins are bought and sold is through auctions. And nowadays we have this vast online environment of auction platforms where you can buy coins. However, acquiring coins through auctions is a bit more complicated than simply going to a shop, liking a coin, paying the price and taking it home. Apart from a few formalities you need to go through before bidding, there's a psychological aspect in the entire auction experience that I think it's important we discuss. I believe it's really easy to get carried away emotionally. There's a lot of anticipation. At the actual moment the coin is being sold, everything goes on rather quickly. The experience is designed in a way that nudges you towards overpaying or not thinking about what you're doing. So hopefully my tips today, based on personal experiences, can help you. I'm going to split this video in two parts. First, a bit of a tutorial, an introduction to the main online platforms, how to register for an auction, how they work, the basics to get you started. I'm not going to talk about eBay in this video, it deserves its own separate discussion. And frankly, if you need a tutorial such as this one from today, it's likely you need a bit more experience to safely buy ancient coins on eBay. There's lots of fakes in there, and it seems like there's no real interest on the part of eBay to solve the issue. And on the background, as I'm talking, I'm going to show you some pretty coins. Someone commented in the last video I was only showing expensive coins, so today I'm featuring coins that cost me less than 50 euros. Most in fact cost me substantially less. On the second part, we're going over the emotional aspects of auctions. The bidding wars, the anticipation, sticking to a budget, setting realistic expectations, determining how much should you bid on a coin. All of the things we should have in mind so our auction experience is a quote-unquote healthy one. Healthy for your wallet, productive for your collection, and hopefully not very detrimental to your mental sanity. Let's get started. First, where can we find online auctions? There are two main ways. The first one is through the websites of the auction houses themselves. They might even have a site with a live bidding system where you can register and bid. But it's quite likely you don't even know at that stage all of the dealers that are out there. So the second easiest way is through an auction platform. These platforms serve as an interface between bidders and auctioneers. Generally, they have a built-in system for bidding, so you can bid on different auctions through the same web page. There are quite a few out there. Bidder, 6bid, Numisbids, Numis24. I don't have a personal favorite, so the first thing I suggest you do is to calmly look at all of them, see all of the different auction houses hosting sales at each platform, and then you just register in the one you like the most and bid. I'll leave a link to some of the ones I generally use in the video description. The next step, once you have signed up for the platform, is applying to the specific auction you're interested in. Auction houses generally publish them like a couple of weeks in advance, so people can see what they have for offer and prepare. Some publish their sales with months in advance. What you want to do next is to carefully read the auction terms on the specific auction you want. This is where you will find all of the important information, such as how much is the buyer's premium, the extra you pay over the final hammer price as a commission to the auction house, the kind of payment methods they accept, shipping costs, any additional fees they might have. Develop a habit of reading the auction terms, please. Applying to participate at an auction means you agree to the terms, so it's basically a legal sales contract between you and them. I generally just read the whole thing before registering, and so should you, frankly. But the most important things you should look for generally are: first, the buyer's premium. These can be as low as 0%, 5%. The average right now is probably between 15 and 18%. and some can be as high as 28%, which for me is just unacceptable. Remember, this will go on top of the final hammer price. Then you need to look for any additional fees they might charge, how they ship your coins, if they send them by mail or by some courier service like FedEx, where they send it from, as you might have to pay custom duties, the payment methods accepted, and if they charge you extra for example, paying by card or PayPal. And just to be 100% safe, I look for an unconditional lifetime guarantee of authenticity. Normally, to even be accepted in these auction platforms, the auction houses actually already have to give this guarantee, but I personally like for it to be stated on each auction term. Fakes can always slip through the cracks. It's not a common occurrence, but it can happen. Even experienced dealers make mistakes sometimes. And if you're paying a premium for the service, I think you deserve the assurance. If it's your first time bidding, they might ask you to provide some sort of identification. Some might even ask for a deposit, although this seems rare nowadays. Basically, it's a way of them ensuring you simply won't register, bid on a coin, win a coin, and not pay. Remember that behind every coin being auctioned, there's a consignor offering the coin, so the auction house needs to give them assurances as well. At first, they might accept you as a bidder and impose some sort of credit limit, like 500 euros max or 200. And as you participate in more auctions, when registering, there's a little field called references where you can put previous auctions you have participated in. And as you build your reputation, you can ask them to raise that credit limit. So, you registered in the auction platform, picked an auction with cool coins you like, you registered for the auction, and you got accepted. How does it work? There are fully electronic auctions, and there are what is called floor auctions, but they generally work the same way. It starts with lot 1, there's an opening minimum price, all the pre-bids are taken into consideration, and then people bid for the coin. Hopefully your bid is the highest. Then either an actual person, in the case of floor auctions, or the auction platform program, it has like a program, will say going once, going twice, people can bid and then it will start over. If no one bids a higher amount, going once, going twice, sold. Then it goes to lot 2, lot 3, lot 4, until the end of the auction. It's not very complicated. Have in mind that you can also just leave your bids before the auction and just hope for the best. Bidding is done in increments. Let's say a coin starts at $10. It goes up in increments, so it could be like by increments of 2, so 12, 14, 16, up to let's say $50. Then it goes up in increments of 5, 55, 60, 65, and so on. The idea is that you leave your maximum bid, and at the time of the auction, it will be compared against the bids of any other participants, with the highest increment being the actual live bid when the live bidding starts. As an example, imagine a coin starts at $10, you leave a pre-bid of $100, and another person leaves a maximum pre-bid of $70. One increment above their maximum bid is $75, meaning you would win the coin for a final price of $75, despite leaving a maximum bid of $100. Of course, that is in the case no one offers a bid during the auction. I personally prefer bidding live, especially since I normally have lots of primary, secondary, and tertiary targets on auctions. I just can't leave highly competitive pre-bids on all of the coins and risk coming back later just to find out I won a ton of coins and need to sell one of my kidneys to pay the entire invoice. Some other auctions work a bit differently. In some, each lot has a certain time up to the second when the lot is supposed to close. That's quite similar to how eBay works. If your bid is the highest when it's time for the lot to close, you get the coin. Generally, if someone else offers a higher bid at the last few minutes or seconds, some extra time, like 5 or 10 minutes, will be added to that particular lot until only one bidder remains. I know an auction where all of the lots closed at the same time and it didn't give any extra time. It's a bit weird. Once more, if in case you're not 100% certain, just look at the auction terms. The format of the auction is generally explained there. And of course, they always leave their email or whatever, so you can just mail them and say like, hey, how does it work? And later, once the auction is over, you will receive an invoice from the auctioneer with the final price, shipping costs, payment details, all of that. All right, I think that wasn't terribly complicated. Now, let's get to the second part, the part I like the most, the psychological aspects of an auction. I think I'm going to do it this way. Let's go over what I do, my auction experience. From the moment an auction I'm interested in participating is published, all the way to the time of the auction. And I'll explain my rationale behind the things I do. Fear of missing out, or FOMO, is a huge part of auctions. The list of coins is generally made available a few weeks to a few months in advance. Not only so enough people can register for the auction, evaluate the coins and see which ones they want, but also so people can visualize those new wonderful coins in their possession as part of their wonderful, finely curated collection. It's so easy to fall in love with a coin you don't own. It's crazy. The opening price also tends to be relatively low, giving you the impression that all coins are bargains. Some auction houses start all lots at $1, €1. Most people don't leave pre-bids and prefer bidding live, meaning up to the day of the auction, most coins might look like the bargain of the century. But trust me, the bids will come in and prices will go up. Auction houses also like to put an estimate price on lots, which is supposed to be what a coin is going to hammer for based on the current market. In my experience, these estimates are always too low and unrealistic. The only real way of knowing the approximate value of a coin is doing a bit of market research yourself, either by researching how much coins of the same type in similar condition are being sold for on the retail market, or checking the latest auction results for that type of coin. I have previously published a video where I teach how to look for the current prices and the latest auction results. I'll leave a link in the video description so you can watch later. It's a very useful guide, especially for beginners, and I highly recommend you watch it later. So, you might have a coin floating in your mind for 2 weeks, slowly becoming part of your collection without you even owning it. And we have a natural tendency of overvaluing the things we own. So that coin with a realistic hammer price of, let's say $100 you saw the other day at the catalog can very easily become a $150 coin at the day of the auction because it has been cooking in your head. It has become a part of your collection and you've been slowly inflating its value and connecting it with your collection. It's quite weird and it's quite evil in a way. But hey, throughout these 2 weeks, it's actually very likely you might have a couple of moments of clarity. Oh crap, I actually don't own that coin yet. Oh no, I'm going to lose that awesome piece. Anxiety plays a huge role in the psychological aspect of auctions, and we have such fragile minds, prone to being emotionally carried away. And let me tell you, when you let emotions take over, your wallet opens up very quickly, and before you realize it, your credit card smells like burned plastic from the massive invoice you just had to pay for that auction you lost control. Okay, so how can we avoid falling for that trap? Well, I would say it's a mix of discipline and making the important decisions early while you have a cool head. That feeling of anticipation before an auction is kind of inevitable. The same goes for fantasizing about these new coins. So as soon as I know I'm bidding at an auction, I decide what's my budget and I stick with it. If you have a problem with sticking to a budget, you should be focusing on developing financial discipline first and collecting coins later. Remember, this is a hobby. It should bring you happiness and it should never be a source of stress, in this case, financial stress. The next step would be to do the market research on the coins I added to my watch list with the method I showed you in the other video. And I know it takes some time, it takes effort to do research on each coin, but here's the thing. In coin collecting and numismatics, overpaying is the price you pay for not doing your homework. It's always like that. And you know what? Doing market research on the price of coins has the indirect benefit of forcing you to look at lots of coins, lots of varieties of the same coin, lots of coins in general. And throughout the years, it has made me a better numismatist. Looking at tons of coins is one of the best ways to develop your eye for what makes a coin desirable, what to expect from a certain type of coin, what makes a coin beautiful, how to detect potential fakes. Use that research-intensive part of your budgeting as an opportunity to become a better collector. Once you know your budget and you know how much each coin currently costs on average, it's time to put your calculator down for a bit and let your heart talk to you. How much am I truly willing to pay for these coins? Do any of these coins generate that wow effect on me, that I'm willing to pay an extra to ensure I get it? Two equally enthusiastic collectors with more money than sense looking at the same coin might result in a bidding war between them, and a coin may go for way more than its market value and what you would have been comfortable paying. Setting up a hard limit, knowing when to stop and when to let it go, at the point where your passion for a coin starts turning into madness, is one of the main traits of a mature collector. Know how to stop. We also need to look at our watch list at large. Am I willing to let go of some of the lots so I have enough of a budget for another coin? That's another inconvenient thing about auctions. Since coins are sold one by one, you might have 2 or 3 coins you like hammering before one coin you really like. But if you buy all of the first coins, you might not have enough budget for the star of the show later on. What do? You go for quantity? You go for quality? These are some questions that only that adorable little collector heart in your chest knows the answer. And you will have such an easier time coming up with a plan before you start fantasizing about these coins. Just stick to your budget, please. Collecting is addictive, and you don't want to suffer the pains of turning a hobby into an addiction. Alright, we have our logical strategy sorted out, what coins are available, how much they should hammer for, how much can you spend, and you have your emotional side also sorted out. Which coins fit your collection, what you truly want. With these 2 in mind, you can prepare your little battle plan. First, I'm going to go for this coin. If I lose it, then I go for that. I'm dropping these from the list because I don't like them enough. This one I really want, it's the main target of the auction, and I'm willing to spend that much over market value, etc., etc. You just prepare a battle plan. The next step, it's an important step, is shutting down your computer, putting your coins away in their cabinet, and going outside to touch some grass and live your life. Because that's a hobby and you've probably spent the last 3 hours making that battle plan for the auction. And it's probably time to go to bed. Let your subconscious digest all of that new information. Also, overthinking, obsessing about that auction, checking the watch list to just see if someone bid on your coin every hour, all of that will only make you more anxious. It's a recipe for disaster and it's an unhealthy way of collecting. If the auction is in 2 weeks, check on the watch list once a week and check it once again the day before the auction. It's that simple. Okay, we're back 2 weeks later, and tomorrow is the great day, the day of the auction. Time to do some reassessment of our priorities. Your mind has had enough time to reevaluate your goals, your collector brain has had time to think about what it truly wants from that auction, and we have new information to work with. By the eve of the auction, there might be a bid or two or more on the coins you want. Who knows? Someone with way deeper pockets than you might have fancied one of your coins and it's already out of your budget. It can happen. The day before the auction is actually one of the most unpleasant moments, when you're forced to face reality and realize some of these cool coins might not end up in your collection. But hey, that's part of the collector experience. But as a wise man once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Sadly, there are other people participating in that same auction. I generally take this moment to stop and reevaluate what's still available within my budget. And in case I see competition is really stiff, I might even back off from the auction entirely. Something like this happened to me recently. There was this very interesting auction of Egyptian coins, with coins from the Ptolemaic dynasty and from the Roman period. I would like to make a set of the 5 good emperors in Egyptian tetradrachma, and there were also some cool Ptolemaic didrachma. And all in all, this was a truly remarkable collection. They had everything. I must have had 100 coins in my watch list. The day before the auction, I checked my watch list, and it was a bloodbath. There were really strong bids on everything. It would only get worse when the live auction began, and they were charging a preposterous 25% buyer's premium. As much as I liked the coins, I just couldn't justify paying that much. I simply don't have the budget for it, especially since it wasn't my main focus, which is Roman imperial coins. So, with a heavy heart, I had to back off. But that's just how it goes sometimes. I personally believe if you take these steps before the auction, when the bidding starts, it will mostly be a formality. Things should be out of your hands, really. You will have not only a very solid, rational strategy behind your bids, but your battle plan, as I called it before, will also take into consideration the coins you truly enjoy. Let the lots come, put forth your bids. If you win, that's awesome. If you lose, well, you have respected your limits, you haven't taken a step towards the dark side of this hobby, and the money is still in your wallet. There will always be another coin. Take any lost coins as a learning experience. If you see you just keep being outbid one auction after the other, this might be a sign that what you collect might be hot right now, or maybe you miscalculated its value. On the next auction, you take that knowledge with you and you adjust your bids accordingly. Don't take it personally. Don't let a lost coin feel like a personal offense. It's just business. Just keep on collecting. And yeah, that's my 2 cents. I hope this personal testimony helps you have a more enjoyable, or at least a less nerve-wracking experience with auctions. And I hope the little tutorial helps you get started into this kind of complex little world. Now I want to hear from you. Do you have any tips for collectors getting started at auctions? Let us know in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like and consider subscribing if you did. Happy collecting, and I'll see you soon.